This will be another lost episode of Mostly Harmless Cutaway.
Oh, here we
Recorded
go.
on Saturday, November 15th, 2014.
You're listening to a Mostly Harmless Cutaway.
Mostly harmless. Mostly harmless? Oh, come. I think that's pretty good coverage for a disintegrated pile of rubble.
Hi, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
And this is Kat.
And welcome back. It is Mostly Harmless Cutaway, episode 119.
Which has no importance whatsoever.
Not at all. I can't think of anything connected to 119.
Nah, neither can I. Once you get past 96, who cares?
Yeah, there you go. Who cares?
That's right. Nobody's counting. Only we are.
Doctor Who cares. All right.
Doctor Who : Mostly Harmless Cutaway.
Oh.
And here we go. Episode 12 of Series 8. Yes, the finale, finally. Death in Heaven.
Death in Heaven.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the 12th episode of Season 8. I thought we were talking about, like, Claws of Axos or something.
Oh, Josh, you're
Part
adorable.
Part 2.
Stop it. Stop it.
I haven't seen that in ages.
So
Claws of
I
Axos.
haven't podcasted with you guys in a while.
Missed you, Kat.
Yeah, it's been like 8 weeks or so.
Oh, hush it.
Well, the chronology is a little messed up on these recordings.
Oh, yes it is, because nobody's going to hear this until 2016 anyway, so...
Well, I don't know. I'm still loving Capaldi in his role as the Doctor. Now, the episodes, I am a little... I don't know. It's I don't know. They're not as intense, or they're not as good as I want them. Like, I like the one with the, what was it, Flatline, I think, or Flat...
Yeah, Flatline.
The 2D.
Love that one.
I love that one. That was one of my favorite of the season. So was the Robin Hood one, and I think the premiere. But the other ones were just okay, like Trees, Moon, whatever.
Wait. Mummy on the Orient Express.
Come on, dude.
Wait a minute.
It was clever.
Whoa.
It was
Whoa.
clever.
Don't.
It was
No.
clever. It was
Here comes the shootout.
Pew,
Oh
pew,
my God.
pew, pew.
How could...
It was clever, but I don't know. It wasn't.
Oh my God.
It wasn't what I wanted. However, once we get to Dark Water and Death in Heaven, that's when the intensity ramps up for me, and I am all in. I have to say that the idea in Dark Water, I'm sorry, that the dead, I know, right? That the dead feel after death, or to suggest that even we may think them as dead, but they still have something going on after death. That's something that has horrified me, or has like bothered me. Like when I have a family member die, like a grandmother, or most recently, like my grandfather and my aunt, is that once, you hear that they pass, I don't know, it's just this little thing that goes when you mourn, that goes on in my head. Like, what if they were wrong? What if they're just not moving? What if they don't understand brain waves? What if they're, screaming on the inside? And, so they, a lot of people say Doctor Who is scary, and it gets into your psyche. But, sometimes it's the woods, sometimes it's under the bed. But this one about death, I think it reaches like into the adult fear, and it was really deep, and I think it bothered some people. Like, people actually wrote in and had made complaints about this to the BBC, and that it was too intense for young viewers. So
it was the "don't cremate me" thing.
Yeah. So, because they can feel it, or they can burn, or if you do a Y incision, they're feeling that crap. So, I just thought that was really major for me, and it was a good thing to show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't like Mummy on the Orient Express?
Oh my God, Josh!
Oh, well, yeah.
Liking it. It's not that I didn't like it. It was just okay. It's not one of my favorite.
Well, it's not just about the... it's not just about the mummy. I mean, I know Josh, that was one of his favorite of the entire series was the mummy.
Seriously, Josh?
It really was, yes.
Yeah, go back and listen to MHC.
But then again, you know what's funny?
115.
Like, I'm finding that my favorites over this season were not necessarily everybody else's. I love Time Heist, and I hear a lot of crap about Time Heist.
I didn't mind Time Heist. Yeah, I didn't mind Time Heist.
No, but also, I mean,
Time
you haven't been with us, or I'm sure you haven't been listening to other Doctor Who podcasts, but yeah, we are of the ilk that we pretty much like or really like or love most all the episodes of this series. Yeah, I do too. Almost every single one.
Well, Josh, I'm going to direct you to Carl and I, the Sci-Fi Party Line podcast. We did like a kind of a recap of all of the season, and I wouldn't say we were kind, and I wouldn't say we were mean, but we were kind of unimpressed with the stories. We loved the Capaldi, but we wanted him to have more intense storylines, because I think that, yeah, they're trying to do the first Doctor thing where he's the old wise guy or the cranky old man or whatever, and I just think that they're not
you want more
involving
intensity.
him. I want more intensity, but I want it to be I don't know what it like, more maybe some Eccleston middle tenant, not Gap Year special tenant, more, and not as astronaut linear River Song as Matt Smith, but like Dark Water and Death in Heaven, because there was like a two-parter, and there was just like some serialized things going there instead of just the bits and pieces of Missy throughout the season or whatever. This was just like a full-on, you have to see next week thing. I think I enjoyed that more. And I have some friends here who are new Doctor Who viewers, and they, of course, came in on, I think, Matt Smith, and they went back and they watched the Eccleston, and now they're here with Capaldi, and they're just like, well, it's just not grabbing me in. I don't feel it. Like, it's not pulling me in. I think the guy's great, but these stories, like, what they feel like, to me, they feel like Sarah Jane stories. And if I wanted to watch Sarah Jane, they could have kept that on. They're at school, you know, they're have all these kids and stuff, and I don't remember that many kids being in Doctor Who since
That's weird. I don't know, because
I think just the opposite.
The way you describe the series as a whole, there's more episodes I felt that way
now, what
about.
What do you mean as a whole? Are you talking about Eccleston to
No.
whole?
The way you were describing Series 8 and how you didn't feel about a lot of the stories and episodes, that's how I felt about more stories and episodes in Series 6 and Series 7.
Agreed.
Than I did about Series 8.
Yeah.
In Series 6 and Series 7, there was more stories that just existed, and I was just kind of unmoved about them. Didn't really connect or grab me in any way. Whereas in Series 8, for me personally, there was more that got my attention and more that I felt good about. So.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I mean, so the intensity thing, the intensity factor, I cannot remember a series where I felt it more intense than this one.
Real.
More dark, more intense, more gray lines.
Yeah.
As far as like what's right and what's wrong, and situations where you really needed to think. So much lying. Very adult in approach. I just thought, you know, this whole series falls into that category for me. And no, I mean, I guess I agree with Eric on the Sarah Jane thing. I mean, the power of three, such a more Sarah Jane than Doctor Who. I mean, I could go back into Series 6 and 7 and say that the show has much more come towards what I would expect out of Doctor Who than those two series. So I'm wildly interested in that opinion, because I cannot disagree with it more. I mean, I just felt like this season, this series, we came back to the Doctor Who that, you know, and I could live with the Danny Pink story, whereas in previous seasons, I would have been annoyed by it because it's all domestic and in the kitchen and the children. And in this season, I was okay with it. It seemed to fit. This doctor is, and again, I will agree with you on this, Kat. Peter Capaldi, it's tough to take your eyes off of him. And Jenna Coleman, I think I mentioned in the last episode, Eric, that I think that Jenna Coleman might be the best actress to have ever played a companion in the whole series. In the whole series, in 63.
Whoa!
Okay?
Shit.
Okay? And I just think that between the two of them, you have such fantastic acting. The direction was over the top good and should receive awards. The writing has never been this tight and this good in a very long time. And, overall, the rewatch factor, which is how I judge my Doctor Who, I went back and watched all the episodes again without any issue and want to watch them again.
So the moon one, where it was a baby and it hatched and then left an egg of equal size, and beat you over the head with the abortion theme, and that just felt a little insulting. It did not feel. It felt like it was a story for babies. Like, I know it's a kid's show, but I don't feel as talked down. I mean, I felt like they talked down to me more in this season than they have for the entirety of the whole run since Eccleston. I felt really talked down to, especially with the trees. Like, oh, kids, you shouldn't just chop down trees. You got to let the trees live because they save you. And I was just like, are you kidding? What's happening right now? And I just like, to me, I kind of felt embarrassed for Capaldi because he's like doing these after school special lines with these really weird, baby stories that are just not really, they're not deep. They're kind of insulting or something to me. And I just was like, what is this? I'm not moved by that. So I do agree with you, Josh, that Jenna Coleman with Matt Smith was not feeling her. But her with Capaldi is magic. I love her right now. She's just right. Everything about her is right with Capaldi. And so I do agree with you on that. But I don't know, some of these stories, like I said, I watched more Sarah. I watched a lot of Sarah Jane, and this season feels like Sarah Jane. Now, like I said before, I liked Sarah Jane because I knew what I was getting into. The stories, if they were light, that was fine because it was a literal kids show. But with the Doctor, I know it's a kids show, but I expect just something little middle of the road that's not whatever was happening here. So I don't know.
All right, so I'm I'm not going to try to defend In the Forest of the Night. I didn't like it that much. I'm not going to try to defend that one because it's. I would agree. It's not my favorite story of the series, but I'm going to defend Kill the Moon. I don't think it was a story for babies. I think it was a story that talked about choices and the reality of making difficult choices. It also showed the relationship between the Doctor and Clara and how the Doctor didn't realize how he was going to manage that situation, and he managed it poorly. I didn't catch the abortion thing until it was spotted all over Twitter. I didn't even think about it. It didn't cross my mind. It did cross my mind. I know. And you know what? It crossed everybody else's mind, but I didn't think about it from that perspective.
That's fine.
I just looked at it as a really clever idea. And that's it. Is it real? No. Is there real science in this? No. But you know what? I don't judge my Doctor Who that way. I judge my Doctor Who by, is it interesting? Am I blown away by the idea? And I was blown away by the idea, even though it was silly. was it well acted? Was the script good? Was it well realized on screen? All of those things, yes, yes, and yes. So,
Really?
I mean, I'm not going to try to defend.
Really though, Josh?
Yes, no.
With the moon flying off as it like a pterodactyl or a dinosaur, flying, and then
what a clever idea.
And it pooping an egg in the exact leaving. I don't know. All right,
what
okay,
a clever
that's fine.
idea. What a clever idea.
I don't know. That's
it's
fine.
silly, but it's clever.
I do have a question, though. I have a question that I've been wanting to ask you. Is this the first time that, I don't think it is, but I don't have another example, but is this the first time that the doctor walked away, did not make a decision, and left it up to humans to just work it out? Has he done this in this manner before?
I think he does it every single week back in the classic series. He kind of left everybody to their own devices. He totally did. I mean, you know what? The fact of the matter is, the Tennant Doctor and the Smith Doctor spent more time hugging people and loving them and treating and being so human that people have forgotten what this character is. Back in the Sunmakers, he fomented a revolution and then walked away. They had no leadership at all. He just said, you guys, good luck. We gave you your freedom back. Take care. It's not unnatural for him to have done that.
Okay.
What I think was unnatural was that he left Clara, and I can understand why Clara was upset about that. And I think that they addressed that.
No, that's fine.
I think they addressed it. Clara was upset about that, and so were we, that he walked away like that. And I think that was the point. That was 100%
I like that he didn't
of the
get
point.
why. I like that he did not get why she would be upset. That was my favorite.
Yeah, exactly. It's the alien in him. It's back to the way it was. It isn't, Matt Smith being a kid, in a candy store. It's this old guy who's seen the universe and sees the universe differently than you and I do. That's what the Doctor's always been. So, it's definitely a callback. So I can understand, people who watched in the Tennant era and grew up essentially with New Who, could find that the Capaldi Doctor is jarring. It is massively jarring.
I think people like him, but they just don't get the story. Like, they feel like it's a different tone from what they. No, we're saying the same thing.
It is. We're
a
saying
exact same. It is a different tone, and people didn't want that. I think if he was a little bit more, because Tennant and Smith were both kind of wacky. And he's wacky in a different way, but it's like, I told him that they needed to go back and watch a few of the older episodes for them to really be able to process Capaldi, but of course, they're not going to do that. But, so I get it, but I do agree that, I don't know, the stories, this particular series is just, I wanted more. I wanted to, I don't know. I just, like I said, I wanted him to maybe, I don't know, is he missing a sexual component or a flirty component? Does he need to flirt with someone? I don't want it to be Clara, but Eccleston had his little flirtation, not flirtation with Rose until it was all out flirtation. And then, Tennant just went on with it, and then Matt Smith had his little kind of flirtation, not flirtation. And I think that people maybe, they can't fall in love with this Doctor, maybe because he's just not. I don't know. I mean, I think he's great.
Young because he's not young and hot.
No, it's not because he's not young. I don't think that's it. I think that they're not, because the guy is dashing. The guy is very handsome to me, but I think, I don't know. They've just removed all of his. He needs a river to come in. He can flirt or dance. Which, I don't know. He needs people his own, not own age, but him and Missy, the dance they did together, the sparring, the verbal sparring or whatever, that was magic. He needs more adults to interact with.
So I don't think he needs somebody to kiss in order for this to be.
No, I don't. That's
good.
not exactly what I was saying. I mean, the verbal, like him and Robin Hood, that was magic. That's what I mean by the kind of chemistry that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? How they just kind of they had the boyish, let's take out the measuring tape and measure each other, and it was just adorable. And so him and Missy kind of had the same thing.
So Eric, what do you think?
He's eating chips.
No, I don't know. I'm just listening. It's interesting. I hear two different things going on. There's the conversation about some of the stories being too simplistic or whatever, and certainly if you point at those particular two that were raised, Kill the Moon and the Forest one, I understand those. I could see that for someone's taste. You know, those didn't bother me too much, but I could see how they might be just someone else's liking. But then there's a separate conversation about the Doctor himself, no, I get what Kat's saying about maybe it elevates him when he goes toe to toe with someone that's like that's as formidable as him. I get that too, and all in good time. I think we have plenty more time to explore that avenue. But even without that, the Capaldi Doctor is already as compelling as he can be for me, even without having his nemesis yet, which of course he has now. But I don't know. I'm just taking it all in because it's nice that finally we have a dissenting voice now on MHC, because that's been the task at hand on this podcast, this whole series.
Yeah, it's been a love-in.
Because I don't know. I'm with Josh on this, of course. Nothing at all wrong with the Capaldi Doctor, and I only expect him to grow even more interesting in Series 9, etc. And I look forward to that, because you're not going to get it all just in that first series. And I don't know. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is, because when I hear criticisms of these stories or this series, I feel like I can pull out so many examples of bad things or things like that in every other series preceding this one, with the exception of Series 5, which is my other almost perfect series.
Just stop it.
But with Series 1, 2, 3, 4, specials, 6, 7, I feel there's a way you can find as many blemishes, if not more, in those series if you really go back and watch them.
I mean, to tell you the truth, Matt Smith was not my favorite Doctor, and I had to try to like him, so I'll agree with you on that. He wasn't my favorite, and you know how I felt about the Western episode and the Witcher of 3 or whatever, you know? So, you're not going to get a disagreement from me, Eric.
No, I know. I'm just taking it all in. But, I mean, that's the other thing I've been trying to figure out over the course of the podcasting this year and watching this series is, will this series, the Series 8 top Series 5 for me, I don't, as my favorite of the new series of Doctor Who. Why do you say that?
Let me tell you why. Because the way you've been recording, you have like this. Never in the history of Eric have we not recorded each week that Doctor Who has aired.
But that's not just about the show.
This series, this guy calls 3 weeks later. Hey, you want to do 3 episodes in one night? I don't care. Screw Capaldi.
That has nothing to do with the series itself.
Whatever. Because Matt Smith, he was like, after the episode aired in England, he was like, or in London, he was just like, hey, let's record right now. And I was like, dude, they haven't showed in America. Yeah, I don't care. Let's do it. But this series,
That all has nothing to do with the show itself. That all has nothing to do with the show itself.
I don't know. But we digress. Did we lose Josh?
No, I'm here, but
You hate me now, don't you? Sorry.
No. You know what? Actually, it's a good conversation, and we should have it, because I think you do bring up some good points. I mean, other than the one about Sarah Jane, I think that's a terrible point. But the other points are really, really good.
What are you talking about? Because you hated Sarah Jane.
I didn't hate Sarah Jane, but I thought it was for children. And I couldn't.
You didn't get to see you didn't watch all of Sarah Jane like I did. So if you had, Josh, you would see what I'm saying to you and how this series was.
I watched enough Sarah Jane. I watched enough Sarah Jane.
No, I mean, there was some stories that I see what you're saying, because there was a few stories in this series where I felt a little bit of a Sarah Jane vibe. The show
In the
Sarah
Forest
Jane.
of the Night. In the Forest of the Night.
Yeah, in the Forest of the Night.
No.
No.
Had a kid in it.
No, but there was a little bit more. I mean, there was little bits of like Caretaker that felt.
I
like,
adored Caretaker. I thought that was epic.
Yeah, I'm not saying whether something's good or bad. I'm just saying there was time, because like the creature I remember in Caretaker also felt like a Sarah Jane creature of the week. Yeah, and I understand that, but at the same time though, but the other important aspect though, what makes it not like Sarah Jane, the Series 8, is some of the things that like Josh is talking about, because there was like deeper, darker things going on between the interactions with the Doctor, his companion, and some of the other key characters along the way. That's part of what I think separates it by a chasm from Sarah Jane, even though it looks a little bit similar on the surface at times to the Sarah Jane.
That show was pretty deep, though. It was pretty deep. It dealt with some really heavy content sometimes.
You talking about Sarah Jane?
Sometimes it didn't.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen as much as you. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea you watched that much Sarah Jane.
Yeah, I watched it all the way until the end.
Wow, I need to do that. I've only seen about not even barely 25% myself.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't watch. I mean, I watched some of it. I didn't watch a lot of it because it just seemed a little bit too on the light side. And the fact that you're saying that that's what this series was like is blows me away, because I didn't find that at all with this series. I thought this series was more adult than any of the series we've seen up until now. The most adult series we have seen, other than In the Forest of the Night. That's the only one that I would say doesn't fall into that category. But everything else, very adult.
I think this is also the most adult of the new series. But oddly, this one, Series 8, is the most adult of the new series. But I would say, though, the one that I think is close to it, though, even though it's all over the place as far as tone, I would say Series 1 is the one that is as nearly adult, or the one that I think of that has adult moments as well.
I don't think so.
Although not as many. I do.
Aliens of London.
Yes, that's what throws it off. That's what screws it up. But there's.
I don't know what you mean by adult, because like, what are you referring?
Well, what I say by adult is like things that are.
Eccleston?
No, when I say adult, I'm saying that there's deeper meaning and deeper things going on besides just the story itself.
Yes.
In Series 1, I think more about Father's Day, especially, and
Dalek.
And the Empty Child, of course, and Dalek. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yes, Aliens of London screws the whole thing up, but but even Aliens of London
it had its
starts off at the beginning with the first time we get this whole idea of what happens with the companion's family while they're off gallivanting around the galaxy, and this whole bit where Rose's mom is, deeply disturbed because she thought her daughter was kidnapped, and all this other stuff that we never dealt with, like in Who, up until that time.
I'll buy into what you're saying there. That it was fairly adult, but I think that Series 8 takes it to a completely different level. I think
it does too, and especially because like the body death count and lack of remorse for the count it's quite significant in this series.
What do you mean? Because I think every time the Doctor anytime there had to be a body count, he was always making sure, now, do you want me to whoop your ass? Because I can leave you alone. I don't want to do this. But if I have to, I will shank you. And it felt like he was given choices.
Wait. Like Mummy on the Orient Express. I mean, the body count on that was ridiculous.
But it's nothing he could do about it.
No, there was something he could do about it. But what he was doing was he was trying to find the answer but letting people die while he was trying to find the answer.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of that episode. Because it was hilarious. Okay, it's like, you gonna die anyway, so just describe your death to me as you're dying. Go! And I was just like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
Looking at it through the eyes of a scientist instead of a human, that's the best way to solve the problem. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
All right, calm down, Spock. Calm down, Spock.
Okay, I'm not even a Star Trek fan, and that's all I could think of was that was his thought process. Is that okay? So a few people die, but I'm saving everybody else, and it brings up all kinds of moral issues, around allowing people to die, and
if he didn't do that, everybody would die.
Making Clara lie, making Clara lie.
She does well on her own.
I know she does well on her own, but she learned throughout the whole time about how she could be like the Doctor. They made such a huge deal over the fact that, in Flatline, she said, "I'm the Doctor," and the last
glorious
episode, Death in Heaven, she was top billed in Death in Heaven, and it was her eyes.
I love
that. In other words, this companion is learning good things and bad things about how the Doctor operates. And, the Doctor lies. And if you're going to be the Doctor, you have to be able to lie appropriately. And she did. These are all like moral questions, moral dilemmas. This wonderful hero that we love, is not this perfect person. He's just not. And he never has been. So, I look at Tennant and Smith and it's just they're way too human for the role. Or way too human to be the Doctor for me. They're just...
He was trying out a thing, though. As a entity, he was trying out a different thing, and he got young, and he wanted to be extra human. So I buy into he was trying to be human, and then now after he had the big thing with handles, and he got really old, and blah blah blah. It makes sense that he kind of reset to me. However, I think. I don't want to say that I'm having a Moffat story writing complaint, because I've seen those people on Twitter and in forums, and they are kind of scaring me right now with their Moffat hate. But so I'm not going to go there. But I will say that, I don't know, I want something a little... I don't think that the stories are doing the Doctor justice.
Wow. Okay.
I just don't think that they're using him like to his full actor potential. It feels like a little bit of squandering. Now, I'm going to give it because it's his first appearance, his first series, whatever. But like each episode got better and better, but I don't know. It just felt like they need to do something better. I don't know. But I guess, should we talk about Darkwater at all?
You mean Death in Heaven?
I mean Death in Heaven, I'm sorry.
Death in Heaven, it's allowed. We can talk about it. Okay. It was better than the Wedding of River song.
Okay, we can all agree.
Thank you very much. Good night. That's it. Thank you for listening to Mostly Harmless Cutaway.
So let's, because I think one of you said that Clara declared herself the Doctor. Now, because when she was with Matt Smith, I felt she was just a little too perky, and I felt that she was almost trying to outact the Doctor or whatever, or out-doctor the Doctor, because she was always just super clever and super perky and super whatever. And towards when they went to what was the Trenzalore, and she was gonna jump into the time vag or whatever we called it.
Did you what? What did you call it?
I'm sorry.
Time
badge? The time stream. The time stream.
Oh my gosh. All right, go on.
Okay, so when she did that, I was really hoping, because they hadn't announced Capaldi, we hadn't heard anything about him or anything, and so I was really hoping that this would be like Clara would turn into the doctor and it would be super clever and she would just be the doctor, and then I would have tolerated her extra out doctoring the doctor because she was the doctor. So that theory did not pan out, as we all see. But I do like in series 8 where she is the reason why she's trying to out doctor the doctor, because she kind of wants to be the doctor, and like you just said, she's learning how to lie. She's learning how to be the doctor. She knew things about him in this latest episode, just rattling off information that I don't think that I knew that she knew. So I was convinced, like, oh, did he jump inside of her, or is there, what's going on here?
Whoa,
Is this
whoa,
like,
whoa, whoa! Did he jump inside of her?
did he like shape shift? Okay, God. So I thought maybe there was some shape shifting.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was some shape shifting or an avatar of some sort, or I don't know what, because she was just really convincing to me, and I was just like, oh my God, here it is. She's kind of half doctor, and maybe she's like a piece of the doctor that broke off in the dime stream, and like she was one of the goo people, you know, when they had the vat of goo people, you remember
the
gangers.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. Well, yeah, Josh.
I thought Missy was Miss C, so Missy would have been Clara. No, I'm just kidding. But that was a really good theory, though. Miss, because what's her name? Courtney was calling her Miss, and
right.
Clara is C.
Oh,
Miss C.
Oh, I was hoping she would be like a Time Lord from somewhere else, like something. Okay, anyway, we'll get to that later. But anyway, I just really love the way Clara just took control. She had like these great big balls on her. She was facing down the Cybermen, and then here comes Danny Pink Cyber, and then the story goes on from there. I guess, you guys could talk for a little bit about what y'all thought about the transition from Darkwater to Death in Heaven, and how y'all felt about Clara coming in and the...
Well, I thought it was interesting that you thought all that, what you just said about wondering if her body was getting taken over by the Doctor or whatever, because that thought never crossed my mind. It seemed perfectly natural to me that she knew all that she knew at that time, just because of the finale last year. It also, you remember like her coming across the book
I forgot.
in the library, and all those other kinds of things. So it's kind of been set up, well, in my mind, that Clara knows a lot more about the Doctor than the typical companion.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought that was Amy who found the book.
No, it was Clara.
It was Clara.
No, it was
okay.
Clara. It was
all
like
right.
into the TARDIS or what? Into the center of the
Journey.
Whatever. Yes, that. But also it didn't surprise me because I felt like it's just been telegraphed this whole series that along the whole way that Clara, it was all about teaching Clara more about the Doctor and how he works and the way he does and how to be like him. It was kind of set up, and I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying it was by design, so it all just made sense to me that that's the way things were going at the end, which was fine.
I love the pre-credit sequence. I absolutely love the pre-credit sequence. I was sitting around a lot of Doctor Who fans when we were watching that, and there was a literal applause. And then you have during the title sequence, it was Jenna Coleman was first, and then it's her eyes, and I loved because she said, "I am the Doctor," and then it went into the titles, and I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. That beginning. I got kind of confused around the unit stuff, right after the credit sequence. Why would they shoot the Doctor with a dart? It just bothered me. Seems like it was unnecessary. That was kind of weird to me. And then being named the president, kind of weird. All kind of weird.
It felt like the Dart thing was comic relief, and they wanted to name him the president because they wanted to take dig at Americans, which I thought was all funny and throwaway, and it really didn't make any sense, so I just let it go.
I didn't even see that.
The weird things made me think about was that I was starting to think, are they trying to, or somehow model this after, like, the Series 3 finale? Because I thought it was a bit strange that, that was also the Master coming back. And then there was all the business with Unit and their Avengers Flying Fortress thing. And I almost thought they were trying to do like a thematic callback for some reason to Utopia.
Yeah, but back then though, I mean, the Master had control. I mean, and
no, I understand that.
The Master is like,
I understand that completely, but I just thought, is this a purposeful redo of the theme? I have to think
I didn't find that at all.
Really though? Not at all?
No, not at all.
I felt it. I agree with Eric though. Yeah.
How would that not... I mean, I'm not saying it's duplicating it or trying to copy it, but it's felt a bit reminiscent. Yeah, just like...
it was closer to Claws of Axos than it was to
draw another poor comparison. To draw another poor comparison, like when we had the Silurian two-parter in Series 5, and how a lot of people felt it was almost... a modern redo of the original Silurian story.
Yeah.
They're very different, but they're still connected in a way. And that's what I felt about this finale and the Series 3 finale. They're very different, but connected in a way.
Connected by the fact that the Master's on Earth doing something with the Earth. But I think it's closer to the Sea Devils than it is to Last of the Time.
He's breaking out his old man called Vex.
No, but it's like using an alien race or using somebody who doesn't like or can go against the humans.
That's actually nice and apt, though, to compare it to the Sea Devils. Again, with the Master's inclusion. Mm-hmm. I like that, actually.
So, I think this is... at the beginning of this episode, we finally find out who Missy is, and I was disappointed to see the Master again. Like, why are you female? Who cares? But I really love this actress as the Master. She
Michelle
is just
Gomez.
So funny. She was just like, hey, here's my boys. And I was just cracking up because she's totally not self-aware that she's being a dick. And
she's self-aware.
Well, I mean, she was just like doesn't care, and it feels like she doesn't know that. Hey, I'm causing chaos and kind of hurting people. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
No. That's the Master. That's what the Master does. He loves to cause loves to cause chaos, loves to make the Doctor look bad, and he loves to pick on humans because the Doctor loves humans. Mm-hmm. I felt she was. I agree with you. She was brilliant casting. I really don't care what the gender of the Master is. The Master's character was definitely inside her, and I don't mean that in any other way, Eric.
Oh,
what? What? You're the one who pointed that out earlier. Not.
I think that the only allusion to the Series 3 piece, I would just want to walk back to that for a second, is the fact that the Master's been planning this all along and has been planning it for a long time, and that's kind of like what had happened in Season 3 or Series 3, whereas, the Vote Saxon thing was prevalent throughout the whole series, and the Master was planning, to go back.
The other connections, though, too, were... There's that. There's the whole idea of Utopia and the Promised Land again. And there's also... The other reason I felt it was because of just Unit trying to be super on top of things. And getting the Doctor involved with the people in charge. So those are, I feel those are relevant connections there, too. And also, all of that, too, ties it back to the classic series. Just as it did for Series 3 as well, since it was usually the Master and Unit and the Doctor, etc.
So how about the Danny Pink story? What did you guys think about how we ended the Danny Pink story?
I cried. I felt like I was Danny Pink. I literally wrote in my notes, I am Danny Pink. And let me tell you why.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because, I just feel like I'm that person who...
You're the real cyber woman.
Not quite that, Eric, sir. But I feel like I'm that person who really loves someone that deeply. And he was loving Clara on a whole different level than she realized. She was down for some casual Tinder, and this guy is like, Match.com or whatever. Like,
What?
I don't think that she loved him as much as he loved her.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, no.
I don't.
No.
I don't, because she lied to him, and she.
Oh no!
She
Now
lied
it's
to him
going
to
a dark
protect
path.
the relationship. She lied to him.
Yeah,
to protect
that's not what you do in relationship. You don't do you lie to your wife to protect her, Josh, with big things? Okay, don't admit
that's a
that
loaded.
on this
That's a
podcast.
loaded question, Kat.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you don't. Okay, I'm gonna say that you do not put your life in.
I'm not
danger
gonna say
traveling through space and time.
No.
And
I'm not gonna defend Clara and say what she did was right, but at the same time, I can't dismiss that she did it out of her own sense of love for Danny. Because I don't feel like.
But see, you know what though? But Danny loved her. And he knew what was going on, but he still loved her anyway. And he sacrificed himself for her. And
I agree with that, and I agree that there were faults in Clara and her decisions that she made. But I don't think that necessarily takes away from her level of love. Is all that I'm saying.
I know it does take away from her level of love, because she is on some whole different other shit. And then Danny Pink is more sober. With the love, he's more realistic, and he doesn't have this need to go out all through space and time, because he has what he wants right here. He knows what he wants. She needs to go out with the doctor, and she needs like a different type of rush, and Danny is just not enough for her. Okay, and not to top it off, not only that, when we were standing towards the end, I'm gonna jump to the end, when we were in the cemetery, she practically told Danny that. Now you can brush it off as like, oh, she's just saying that it's the doctor, it will always be the doctor, no one's going to come before the doctor, blah blah blah. And she was just talking crap to a Cyberman, but she's talking this crap to Danny as a Cyberman, and his name did not come up once.
He was dead. He was dead.
Did she realize that he was dead in the cemetery at the end, or did she realize?
She thought he was dead. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. She went to the funeral and everything.
But in that whole speech, she was just. It was all about the doctor, and she did not mention, she's like, he's the only person and he's the only this, and it was so absolute about the doctor. Even if Danny, she didn't even allude that it was anyone else that she felt that strongly about. So, and she did all of this concrete declaration to Danny Cyberman. So I just thought that, if you are talking about someone you love and you're being this absolute and you're being this strong about talking about your love, somebody like Danny it should come up, even if he's dead. You know what I'm saying? But the only person that came up was the doctor.
Okay.
Well, I think it was written that way to evoke these exact feelings out of the audience.
No, yeah, I get you. So I get you, and that's why I say it was written that way, because the writers know that Clara did not. It's not taking anything away from her. It's not calling her a bad person. And in every relationship, someone loves someone differently than another person does. It's never quite equal or whatever. So it's okay that she didn't love him as much.
Oh my God! Just stop with that.
Okay.
She didn't love him as much.
She did not. It wasn't the same. They loved
right.
It wasn't the same. I agree it's not the same, but I would say not. See, I agree with half of what you're saying, but not all of what you're saying.
But I'm saying, I think that Danny loved her on a deeper level.
No. That is your judgment based on what you know. But the fact of the matter is, the reality. No, just let me finish. Let me finish.
Woo!
The fact of the matter is that I believe Clara loved Danny very, very much. I don't think that there's a difference. And your words "casual tender" really got to me. I don't think that Clara looked at Danny as a casual relationship. I think she wanted to have babies with him. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. I don't think it's an exaggeration because it's mentioned. It's mentioned. Okay, about how she wants babies. She's looking over at Danny. Okay. Now, here's the reality. If we're going to look at reality and reality of relationships, she mentioned several times that the doctor was her hobby. Okay? Her hobby. All right? So she looked at it this way. If I can somehow maintain my hobby and maintain my relationship, I'm going to try to do both. Okay? Now, if Danny said, don't do that anymore, I'd wonder about Danny and how much he really, truly loved her. Because if that's what she wants, well, if that's what she wants to do, that's part of her world. That's part of her life. And you know what? That's the thing about relationships, is that if you have a relationship with somebody and you make them give up something that they love, or that it's their hobby and they love to do it, then there's going to be a resentment there. Okay? And that resentment will grow over time. And see, that's the reality of a relationship, is that sometimes your partner is not doing something you want them to do. And as long as it's not unhealthy, I mean, you have to either understand, as the person that loves you, you have to understand that that's important to that other person, or you just simply don't accept it and the relationship goes to hell. Okay?
That's true, Josh, but she didn't give him that choice to say, okay, go do it. She lied about it.
Because she felt like he wasn't... No, but he said very early, you shouldn't do this. It's dangerous. So he was keeping that from him because he would continue to say, but
she didn't have a conversation with him, though. That doesn't make it right.
We saw a conversation. We didn't
finish the conversation. The conversation should have been finished to where they were both clear on what each other wanted. And she just decided that instead of being super clear about how I feel about traveling with the doctor, I'm just going to lie to him.
She figured that, and that's real. That's by far the most real type of character you could ever freaking have in any show. I don't think it shows that she loved him less. I think it just shows that she had this hobby, and she figured that if she started talking about how she's going away with the doctor and doing all this, that she would lose him. So her reaction is to not tell him about it. Okay? That's real. That doesn't mean she loves him any less.
That's fine, though. But that means she doesn't trust him. Trust him. No, that's what it means. If you cannot tell somebody something about your life, you can't be straight up and clear, and you have a long-term discussion. Even if you disagree at that moment, you can revisit it. You don't lie to them. You don't lie to them to protect them, because they're gonna be pissed at the end, and you have lied, and now you have a history of lying. You know what I'm saying? What if her hobby was sex? My hobby is sex with two men at once.
Wait. Stop. I think you're going overboard on this. Okay?
That is.
No. What we're talking about is trust between two people, and how one reacts when one is in a situation where she feels like she has to give up something she likes. And you know what? It has nothing to do with how much she loves him. It has to do with how she reacts in order to maintain both. It has nothing to do with how much she loves him. It's a perfectly human reaction to say, how can I get away with both? How can I do
she
both?
She still did not trust him enough to have the conversation. She did not respect him enough to respect his, if he didn't want to do it, let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. Let's have an adult conversation about it. Not like, I'm just going to do it regardless, and I'm going to have my fun, and I'm going to continue to lie to you over weeks.
And you could argue
and months.
You could definitely argue that she handled it poorly. Okay?
But does that break a trust, though?
No, but you could definitely argue that she handled it poorly. And I think that that's one of the messages in this series, is that she handled it poorly.
Did she handle it poorly because she's not as serious about the relationship, though?
No.
Why did she handle it poorly?
She was completely serious about the relationship, but she handled the situation
but if you're serious,
poorly.
But if you're serious about somebody, would you have handled it differently? Yeah, but I don't know. But would you? Like, are you serious enough to handle something differently to where you're not lying to someone?
Listen, I'm not saying that their relationship was perfect. I'm not saying that she handled it perfectly. I just don't think that you can judge whether she loved him less than he did because she made a mistake in her approach.
Yes.
She screwed up. She should definitely have talked to him about it. She should never have lied to him about it. She should never have kept any of that stuff, but it's so human that she did.
I know it's human, but some people would not have made that decision, though. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean?
Some people may have done it right. She didn't. I mean, at the end of the day, she didn't do it right. But I don't think
what does that say about her as a person?
It says that she's flawed, Kat. She's a flawed person.
I understand that, but everybody is flawed. But what I'm saying is, are you flawed in a way that the relationship can happen? Like, are you flawed? Like, would Danny have done that to her? No, I don't think so. So what does that mean? What does that say about the relationship? He sacrificed himself. What does that mean? What would she have done the other? Well, everybody is.
No, but I mean, you're pointing this out as if it's a change in her feelings to him, and it's not. It's just because she's flawed and that she took the wrong choice. She made the wrong decision on the approach. That was it. I don't think it has anything to do with how much she loves him. I think she loves him very much.
I disagree.
Okay, well, I mean, again, I think that
I don't think it was.
You don't judge. She did it because she was protecting the relationship. That's why she did it. She lied to protect the relationship. But
I just don't do that. That makes no sense.
Well, you're right. You're right. So she made a mistake in judgment. But
I'm not trying to be right. I'm just saying.
But
I'm not trying to be right.
She made a mistake in judgment only. It's not that she loves him less. It's that she's just immature and handled it immaturely. And she's flawed as a character. She's flawed. She doesn't know how to handle that type of relationship enough to have gone back to him and had the conversation. That's what it shows. That's why the series is amazing, because the characters are so goddamn real. They're not one-dimensional. They're not linear. They make mistakes. They do stupid things. Even the smartest people in this series do stupid things.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, what he needed was somebody who would not have made that mistake.
That's true. Hey, listen, that's probably true. But the fact is, he fell in love with her. True. Good, bad, or indifferent. He fell in love with her, and she just did not know how to handle that situation. Didn't know how to do it. We'll leave it there. Eric, how you doing?
Well, there's a thing I could say, because it'll just sound like I'm piling on. I mean, because I'm with Josh on this, and I mean, there's nothing else I could say, because, yeah, I feel it is that way. Yeah.
Finally, an MHC that actually has some juice to it.
Yeah, we save the teeth for the end.
Now I can have like a really good debate over something. And it's actually rather interesting debate. Stuff I haven't
over the people.
It's stuff I haven't even thought about. Like, you got me thinking about it, and that's what's great about this discussion, is because this is something that, I didn't really consider, and it shows the layers that there is in this series about being able to have this type of discussion about these written characters, these fake characters that they did such an amazing job putting together this year.
And
it just blows me away how great they did with building characters this year.
So I will have to say that they did a really good job with the relationships. Okay, so I think maybe I was looking at this series just a little bit wrong, because I was looking at it from the sci-fi, wow me with sci-fi stories and the trappings of sci-fi stories and aliens and stuff like that. But if you take that portion away and you look at it from the relationship, well then, you know what? I will say that that's pretty intense, because all the other relationships, that's what you meant by more adult, right?
Yes.
Is this what you... Oh, yeah. Okay. See?
I think this was mentioned at some point in the MHCs during Series 8. I don't remember which one, but where I was saying that the Earthbound stuff, or the stuff, there's probably been more emphasis and more put into developing the Earthbound or companion backstory on Earth more in this series than any of the other new series, to where it has more weight, I think, compared to we went over this before when we talked about the previous companions, their either their vocation or their family life and whatever, and that definitely, love it or hate it, people are going to feel differently about it, but I feel it's one of the big strengths of this series that separates it from previous ones.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It just had a lot more. I don't know what the word is. Juice. It's a better word. I don't know. There must be a better word for it. You know what? I don't. Depth. Non-linear depth to the characters. I mean, I didn't mind the sci-fi pieces either, and I'm not gonna sit and debate on that. Just because I'm getting tired.
I'm wearing you down, boy.
You're wearing me down, Kat. But it's good. It's all good. I really just really enjoyed the storytelling, and it kept me involved, and that's more than I can say for a lot of the New Who that I've seen. He actually was able to achieve a balance this year between that, kind of domestic relationship thing and, the Doctor's character and trying to figure out what the Doctor's character is. I mean, that whole thing about Am I a Good Man? That's the whole thing. That's what they were trying to do. I mean,
that soldier bit with Danny Pink, that was just brilliant. And the way they brought it up in the last episode about don't get your hands dirty, you turn it down, you turn me off, or you destroy my humanity. Wow. So great the way that was done.
Am I a good man? I'm not a good man. But I'm not a bad man. I'm not a bad man either. I am an idiot who flies around in a box with a screwdriver trying to help people. That's what, and I think that, just putting it from that perspective, kind of shows us that, the Doctor's a flawed character too. He's a flawed character just like everybody else, and he makes mistakes, and it goes to prove that you can be that flawed character, but also be amazing too at the same time.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Missy? Like, how did you want to see the Master come back? Were you bored? Who did you think this person was? Like, what is your thought process?
Eric, I'll let you take that.
I'm totally fine with the Master coming back and all that. I was fine with her. I wasn't actually in love with her, as many people are. But it was only a minor thing for me. Just for me personally, there was little bits where she was just a bit zany for me. But I know a lot of other people appreciated those zany bits and liked it. But that's just like a minor quibble on my part. But I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. I think she's great. But I'm just not in love with this iteration as much as others are, I guess. But I'm perfectly fine with her and it. And I mean, I have no idea what they're gonna do with Series 9. I actually think it would be okay to have her recur a bit more in the next series, kind of a bit of a way like the way the Master did back in that Sea Devil season. I don't know if that lessens the character, but I think it would make sense to have the Master pop in and out in multiple stories of next year without the Master being the big emphasis for the end. But, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. It would make sense to me. I don't think that the Master necessarily has to be, put up and only brought out for special occasions. I think the Master could be out for some more regular outings, but that's just my opinion.
I think also too that I don't want like the first appearance or the where we get to know her as a character. She was a bit zany. Now, if she was to show up more, I don't want to see this whole mustache twirly, constant one-liners thing. I don't want to see that from her if she's going to come back. What I do want to see is something that was really compelling, like when we learned about the master and the drums and the throwing back in time and Lord President and all that. That stuff was good. So I want to know, like, how she came back, why, like the very reason that she is the reason that we have mythology about afterlife. Brilliant. Love that. I want to see something more than just, hey, I'm a bad guy and I want to piss the doctor off, because we've seen that before out of the master. If you're going to do that, just, it's going to bore me. I want something conflicting or something deeper than just, hey, I'm going to be your evil nemesis and let me twirl my mustache or my umbrella since I'm a girl.
I think she's perfect for him. I think that works. This doctor with her, I think, works extremely well. The master's been twirling his mustache for a long time. Anthony Ainley, that's all he did was twirl his mustache.
But you've seen that so much, Josh. Aren't you bored with that type of?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think the master should be overused. Just like I don't think any nemesis should be overused. But I mean, it's so clear that he didn't kill the master. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that beam came from something else, not that little phone thing that she was carrying. But I think that we know that she's going to be in Series 9. I think that's been announced, or she has mentioned it or something, that she's going to be in Series 9. So, I'm looking forward to it. I think, she's suitably crazy for me. John Sim was crazy, but I think there's just something about her that I really, really appreciate. And
I agree.
And I think she's going to be great as a nemesis for this specific doctor. I think she'll be great.
Do you want to see River Song make an appearance?
No. No, I do not want to see River Song. I do not want to see Captain Jack. I don't want to see Rose.
I wouldn't mind seeing Captain Jack, though, but I would expect Captain Jack to be different than we've ever seen him before.
I don't want Captain Jack. I don't want any of those old from the previous days, the Torchwood stuff. I don't want it. I think we've moved on. It's time to continue to move on. Just saying.
So what about hashtag? So Osgood.
Hashtag.
Osgood.
Oh yeah, when I was at the convention, like there were plenty of Osgood cosplayers, and they were all hugging each other and sad. I guess they had to kill somebody off. So, or what they say is that she's actually the Zygon. Did you guys hear that? Everybody's trying to say that it wasn't the real Osgood, and she'll be back and all this other nonsense, but I'm okay with them killing her.
Well, I am wondering who's done. Like, okay, obviously the Master will be back. I was wondering about Osgood, if she's really gone for good.
She was turned to dust, though.
I know, but a lot of people were turned to dust, but it seems that it's... I don't know, I felt like it was like when someone dies in a comic book, like, I will not be surprised if she comes back. I'm not saying that she is going to come back.
I thought she had a twin. That's what I read online or something.
Well, yeah, that's the Zygon thing. That's the Zygon thing. But I'm not saying she is going to come back, but if and when she does, I will not be surprised in the least. But I'm also wondering, though, if we've seen the last of Danny Pink as well. And I mean, I think it would be cool if we've seen the last of him and that he's done and that's over. But, the way the episode ends and, with Santa,
sending him through, setting the kid through and his final sacrifice.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that seems done and done. But then I'm talking about what Santa says, well, you think we're just going to leave it like this? And, like everything's just going to be bad. I mean, I think it'd be interesting if we're done with Danny, but I am not convinced we're done with Danny and all this.
That seemed like an exit to me.
And
no, you got a good point though, Eric. You got a good point, because they were talking about how Jenna Coleman might leave after the Christmas special. Wouldn't it be interesting if Santa brought back Danny and that stuff we were talking about, Kat? Mm-hmm. That she just finally decides, you know what, it's more worth it to me to maintain my relationship with Danny Pink than it is to continue traveling with the Doctor. I can imagine that. I can see that.
But that would totally be Amy and Rory all over again.
I actually think it would be amazing if everything was wrapped up at this point as far as these characters and that was it. I think that would be incredible, and it'd be like really making a statement, doing something that's quite remarkable, like in the annals of Doctor Who. But I have a feeling, though, there is a happier ending down the road. I really do. Not because I want it, but that's what I just think is going to happen.
I think you might be right, Eric. I can definitely see a trail whereby that might happen. I mean, he seems to be still out there, right? And
I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine either way.
He is fine either way, as a Cyberman or a real man. I'd take him both ways.
It's interesting though, when I just made the remark about Cyberwoman earlier, I forgot that a lot of this ground and territory was covered in Torchwood. Because I actually liked that episode of Torchwood. I know a lot of people
Cyberwoman?
didn't. Yeah, but remember, because the whole thing was Yanto and his ex, and how she was half cyberized.
That was poor.
I didn't think it was poor. I didn't think it was poor.
That was so terrible. You know what? Tacky on TV did a whole.
No, I actually didn't think it was
awesome.
Poor. Actually, I mean, I don't know how well it was executed, but the idea and concepts that it was dealing with, I thought were pretty good and definitely good for Torchwood standards. I'm talking about the series, and I had completely forgotten how some of these things were grappled with back then.
We're already talking too much about Torchwood already.
I just think it's interesting though that we had that Yanto X relationship situation, and to half revisit it here, I think it's just interesting. And that's it. I actually like that story. That was a good story. It was a scary and vicious story too. It was unrelenting.
There was some pretty graphic stuff in that one.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I mean, she killed somebody with something.
And that story I thought was a good follow-up to like the fallout of what happened back in Doomsday.
Guys.
What?
Yeah.
Calm down.
What?
We have one question. I don't care about Torchwood. One question now. Gallifrey is not lost, gave coordinates, and then he went to said coordinates. Coordinates had zilch, and then he started throwing stuff about the TARDIS. What's that?
Yeah, so she lied, obviously. That the Gallifrey is not at 10-0-11-0 by 02. That is the coordinates for Gallifrey.
Maybe it was out of phase or something, and he didn't know something.
I don't know where it's
blah,
at
blah.
or what it's at, or
I think Gallifrey is somewhere and it's not time locked anymore.
Yeah, but I've been saying this since
I thought we knew that because of the Matt Smith exit.
Ever since, I want to say, going back to the blue guy and Doctor Who.
Oh, stop it! What is wrong with you?
No, but I just want to say, going back to when we were podcasting on that, I'm pretty sure I put out back then that where else can Moffat go with his future series of Doctor Who, that we're going to eventually get Gallifrey and Time Lords back. And so this has all just been part of the plan that I've been expecting for quite some time now.
And you know what? They nearly proved it with, and I read Doctor Who magazine, and Stephen Moffat actually confirmed this, that that he was on, that in Listen, Clara did go back to Gallifrey.
Well, yeah, of course she did.
No, but I mean, it was confirmed. It wasn't some, it was a Gallifrey. Not sure if it was Gallifrey.
Never had any doubt.
Gallifrey is time locked. Blah 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 blah. It's not.
I never had any doubts in my mind about that, about Claire actually being on Gallifrey. But no, it's just a matter of time, and I'm just not sure if he's going to get there before he finishes his run as executive producer, or if he'll end on that note.
Is there an end? Is there an end date for him?
No, there isn't.
Oh,
I'm just saying out loud. Because I kind of thought it would have happened by now, Series 8. But whatever, it's fine. But it's just what I've always expected. So let it be.
It's all good. Let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know what happened, sort of. I haven't seen it or anything, but I know that, like, when the Time Lords came around in the old episodes, the classic episodes, that it wasn't a good time. Sort of like when Battlestar Galactica went to the 80s. However,
let's not. That was a complete non sequitur. Battlestar Galactica in the 80s, but go on, continue your point.
Well, no, like when they went back in time to the 80s or forward in time to the like Earth or something in that. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know that was a terrible time in Battlestar Galactica history, but I don't see the connection at all to Time Lords being in Doctor Who.
Well, that's what people made it sound like, that when the Time Lords showed up, it was that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not necessarily true. That's
okay. Well, anyway. People are like, no, we don't want like literal Time Lords running about. I don't understand why we don't want Time Lords. Like, I want more of them. I want to get to know them. I want to see Gallifrey. We got to see a little bit of it. What's wrong with showing Gallifrey? What's wrong with having like other Time Lords just hanging out? I mean, what's wrong with that? I understand that the Doctor, and this is Doctor Who, but like, would another Time Lord showing up like really steal that much of his thunder?
No, I don't think so. I'm not part of that camp, whatever that camp is. No, I'm perfectly fine with there being more Time Lords, and I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing at all when they would pop around. Come on, I mean, Time Meddler, that's one of people's favorite First Doctor stories, and that just about kicked it off, the trend, and there's plenty of other good examples. I'm perfectly fine. Bring them on. I don't know that camp.
Did Josh fall asleep?
No. I just have no comment.
Why?
No, it's neither here nor there for me.
Oh. So you don't care either way if they show up or not? Or
nope.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. Don't care either way.
Do you want to see more of Gallifrey?
I'd be fine with it. Personally, I'd be fine with it.
Don't care either way.
I'd be fine with it.
Wow. Okay, then, Josh.
I think they can have plenty of stories without Gallifrey.
I think we can... Oh, I'm not saying we have to have Gallifrey or need to go to Gallifrey, but just the idea of them existing again, or little tangential interaction, I'm fine with it.
Like, why can't we be on Gallifrey?
No, we could.
Why can't we have a season on Gallifrey?
No.
That's
Why not?
No.
We have seasons on Earth. Why not we go to Gallifrey?
No, that's going... I'm not in favor of that.
Why?
That's shark jump territory.
The whole point is the TARDIS and utilizing the TARDIS, please. I mean...
The TARDIS can go back in time on Gallifrey.
Okay, now we're getting into shark jump.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Well, I don't know I don't know why that's...
No, this has nothing to do with history or anything. That would be a really unexpected left turn. I don't even...
No. Let's not talk about this.
Well,
there's no point.
We went back in time to see the...
No, it's doable, but I don't know why you would do it from a production point of view.
Why wouldn't you? It's science fiction. You could do whatever you want. We can go like the Face of Bow people, or are they like? Why not? I mean, seems like
checking out of this conversation.
Oh, fine.
A whole series of Doctor Who.
No. Don't do this. Don't.
I don't understand what.
Don't do it.
Why
don't
am I being laughed at?
Because it's just not the show.
Okay, fine.
You know what? It's really funny because the only reason why his home planet in the first place has been in any importance at all is because Russell T Davies destroyed the planet at the beginning of New Who. That's the only reason why it has any importance. Otherwise, it would have none. It would have none. It would have no importance at all. In fact, for the first 6 seasons, we didn't even know where the Doctor came from. I mean, it meant nothing until such time as the production crew said we don't have enough money to take him to different planets, so let's put him on Earth for a season or 2 and see if the show survives. That's the only reason the Time Wars were created in the first place. So the whole Gallifrey thing. If Moffat wants to play with that, I'm okay with it, but. Gallifrey should not be the center of the show. The center of the show is the TARDIS and the Doctor. That's it.
Okay.
Anyway, I've said way too much on this topic. Way too much.
Grumpy.
No, actually, I don't have a lot of time left, you guys. So,
Okay.
Oh,
Let's wrap
so-
this up.
Josh is almost done with this.
He is done with me. He's just
Not at all, Kat.
He's almost done with his body. It's almost time for Josh to regenerate.
yeah, it is. It's this old body of mine is wearing a bit thin,
oh.
but the moment has been prepared for.
Hey, calm down.
No,
no,
good times. I know we've been going long. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. We
Uh,
like it long.
Josh, how are we
Cat.
going to rate it this week? I know, Cat of all people.
All right, we're gonna have to do. How many cyber brigs do you? Because we never talked about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how many cyber brigs do you give? Death in Heaven?
Well, I'll kick it off. I will give it 4.5. 4.5. Cyber Briggs.
Top half or bottom half of brig?
Oh my gosh.
Does it have some brig ass or does it have brig head?
What?
What? I can't even do this math right now.
Heads for the salute.
Okay.
Top half.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Kat,
All
what do
right.
you? How many cyber brigs do you give?
I'm gonna go a solid 4. Solid
Okay.
4 on this one.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it 4.5 cyber brigs, and a full salute to Stephen Moffat and to the brig on a wonderful season and a season that was well beyond my expectations. And actually, I'm not so sure I'm looking forward to the Christmas special, but because I never do. But I am looking forward to Series 9. And he's going to have to... I hope it doesn't turn out to be like Series 6 was to Series 5.
Oh god, no.
I hope
No.
not. I hope not.
I doubt it. I feel like that's already... He got that out of his system. And I will say, too, though, it also exceeded my expectations for a series. Series 8 did. I never, in my wildest imagination, thought it was going to be that I would like it as much or nearly more. I don't know. I still haven't figured that question out, if I like this more than Series 5. But the fact that I'm even having that conversation, I never expected that.
Yeah,
to
exactly. I can't agree with you more. That's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, I still look. Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. It's hard to beat that, man.
11th hour.
It's hard to 11th hour. It's hard to
Doctor,
beat. It's hard to beat that.
The Lodger.
But we came close. Lodger. I'm not going to put that in that.
I love the Lodger, but
yes.
come on.
I like
Got
the clown on the
Sophie
wall.
in there. Come on.
You just like it for Sophie. I
That's
mean,
not true.
It is.
Okay, guys,
That's not
guys.
true.
Guys, calm.
But there we go. We rated it, and I guess we've kind of covered. I mean, any thoughts on the next time trailer or the future? We've kind of. Josh is not looking forward to Christmas because he never does.
Because I'm a Scrooge
Scrooge.
or a Jew, one of the two.
Oh,
as
come
long
on.
as long as it's better than the Doctor,
We're
the
all
Widow,
Jews.
and the Wardrobe, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well, you're setting the bar real low there, Eric. So, hey, listen, I like the Snowman. Okay, I did.
Oh, I like the Snowman a lot.
The Snowman was great. So
Yeah.
maybe it can be like the Snowman, and I'll be happy. So
Yeah, the Snowman was great.
Okay.
Or the next
But
Exactly.
I really liked what was the one with Dumbledore? Christmas Carol. I love Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol was good
Yeah,
too.
that was-
Love that one.
It was good, but I mean, not as good as the Snowman, and
Oh,
not
I
as,
like Christmas
not
Carol more.
not as bad as the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Christmas
or
Carol
whatever-
still
or whatever it is.
Voyage of the Damned. Oh,
Oh, Voyage of the Damned.
Stop.
Oh my god.
sorry.
Stop.
Just a cracking joke.
Doctor Who
Cracking-
episode of the Damned is terrible.
cracking jokes.
Yeah.
All right, well, there you go. There we go. Series 8, Dunzo. Till
Dunzo.
Christmas. There you go. There you have it. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
In 2016, we all appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
For listening to the history of Series 8, the retrospective series for Series 8. We really appreciate you coming for this.
burn.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And
You know, this one I'm going to listen to, because I think that the argument between Kat and I, or the debate...
I almost
between
felt like
Kat
some of
and
that
I-
stuff was planted.
Oh, no, it totally wasn't. We just work really well together. That's why it's good podcast.
Josh, I miss him so much.
That's right, and I cannot miss you more, Kat.
Oh.
Closing out the show today, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
This is Kat.
And until next time,
Even if dark water is falling from the sky and the dead get reanimated as Cybermen,
Don't panic.
yeah, that's like the best one of the season right there.
wow.
Because everything else was this big love-in, and now we actually have a debate that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
I brought it.
You
All right.
totally, you brought your A game, Kat. Totally brought your A game for this one, so it was worth the wait. I had a blast at Long Island Who, by the way.
I could tell. I didn't even know you were gonna moderate a panel or whatever that was.
That was on stage for Coffee and Podcasts. And I did other panels too, but
Did you sign up for those things ahead of time, or how did that happen?
the Coffee and Podcast I was asked.
Wow.
And I couldn't say no, obviously. He said, who do you want to interview? I'm like, dude, you just give me an interview, I'll take it. I mean, I'd like to have a companion, or a doctor. So he said, how about Daphne Ashbrook and Yi So? And I said, okay. No, Eric, the best part was Friday.
Because
I interviewed, David Huey and I interviewed Paul McGann,
Ooh.
Wendy Padbury, Deborah Watling, Terrence Dix, Nicola Bryant, and Colin
Ooh.
Baker.
Wow.
was that it?
Oh, he is so unimpressed.
Oh, let me put it this way. It was my birthday last Friday, okay? And they all wished me happy birthday. It was so sweet. And I got a nice kiss and hug from Deborah Watling. And, I mean, everybody was so nice. It was the most amazing day I've had in a long, long time. I was blown away. The other thing is, unlike Gallifrey, I think that because it's a young con, some podcasters had some accessibility that they wouldn't have at other cons. So
Right.
that was hugely helpful. And they asked me some ideas on some panels early, and I gave them 5 ideas, and they managed to do all 5.
Oh. So this sounds like the con to go to if you don't want to be bogged down by the galley 1.
Well, I think it's the con to go to if you want it to be a little less, I don't know, crowded
Yeah.
as Galley is. Depending on who they have for guests next year. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was I was kind of given the run of the place, and that made me happy to no end.
Wow. So why didn't we save this for the show, Eric?
Oh, I don't know. We're just talking.
Because I think people should know that.